We're next going to talk about perhaps one of the most complex functions in Microsoft Excel, one that is really used in rather difficult circumstances usually, but let's begin by a simple example. So let's say that we have a number 100 and we want to add something to it, but we don't know whether it's 13 or 11 that we're adding. Yeah, that's really up in the air still. Now there is a function called, since we have 13 and 11 in different cells, there is a function called indirect. And what indirect does is, if we write equals indirect f2 plus 100, then what it does, it goes to that cell f2, which is here, and when it runs, it replaces itself inside the command with what is written in f2. So since right now in f2 we have h2, this indirect will be replaced with h2, and it's going to be 13 plus 100. If we have had there h3, this indirect, when it runs, it will have replaced itself. Indirect f2 replaces itself with what is in f2. In our case, it's replacing itself with h3, and now it adds together 11 and 100. And that's how it works. And it's really rather abstract so far. But let's see what we can do with it. In our same problem that's regarding apartments, we're now dealing with apartment number 4. Recall that here is the table of apartments. These are the apartment numbers, the owners, the areas, the number of people living inside the apartment. And now let's say that we don't know whether we want right now for apartment number 4 the owner, the area, or the number of people. We don't know that ahead of time. Let's say in the beginning we decide to have owner, the owner. Then if we now want the owner of the apartment number 4, we write equals index, we go with index to owners block and take the 4th owner out, and we will end up with LTOM. Now remember, we decided to be undecided about what we really want to know. So what we do now is we replace this owner with this indirect equals index indirect parenthesis D19 equals index indirect D19, and now if we run this index, this indirect will go to D19 and replace itself with the word owner, and then this formula is run with index owner C19. So that's how it works. And now naturally what we want to do next is we want to let the user choose what's going to be displayed here. So we will now take this block, do formulas, create formulas, create from selection, top row, and this is going to be the block called indicator. Now we will do a data validation in here. So we select this block, which the cell which right now contains the owner. We do data validation, and remember we had to switch on list in here, and as the source we write equals indicator, and now we will have all the options from amongst these three. And now when the user is going to switch from owner to area, this indirect inside the index will replace itself with area, and if we choose people, it's going to replace itself with people. So we have the apartment number 4, and we have the data validation, which is going to let us choose what to really display in here. Now, this is a very small example, but in real cases we can have a huge table on top of which such an data validation and indirect sit, and if we make a change, the entire table will change its contents.